Alrighty. This is like my third time doing this. Apparently, my mic was muted both times. Let's see. I'm going to go to this document. Alright. So, the very first sense that I'm talking about is hearing. Um, so, I related this quote: "We do not see things as they are, we see them as we are." Growing up listening to this song by Linkin Park, it's called Breaking the Habit. Um, I used to sing it and I didn't understand the meaning of it. I was a kid. Um, I was like 4 or 5 years old. I'd always sing my heart out to this song, and it wasn't until I was 18, 19, 20. I was coming off of my drug of choice, and it kind of hit me like a freight train. Let's see, there we go. Um, this right here is what I related to getting sober. So it says, "I don't know what's worth fighting for or why I have to scream. I don't know why I instigate and say what I don't mean. I don't know how I got this way. I know it's not alright, so I'm breaking the habit tonight," basically. Um, Whenever you're coming down off of drugs, it's hard to be emotionally stable, basically. It's hard to maintain your emotions because you're so angry, you're so sad, you're so everything. You just feel everything all at once. And I don't know how I ended up getting, that far. And that's how this song was so relatable. Um, this part right here, clutching my cure, I tightly lock the door. I try to catch my breath again. I hurt much more than any time before. I had no options left again. Whenever I was pregnant with my daughter, she's the reason I got sober. Um, Anytime I got high, I would have the bag in my hand. I'd run into my room and then I would lock the door with a knife, make sure no one saw me. And whenever I was getting sober, there was such shame and such guilt, which is good because, eventually I got sober. But at one point, I just kind of ran out of options. Like, it's like you get sober or you can go to prison and you can lose your child. So it was just like an easy pick, but it was it's easier said than done. It's very, very hard to get through. Fun fact: Chester Bennington killed himself. He's the singer of the song, basically, the senior screamer of the band. Um, that's also probably another reason why this song is so meaningful to me too, because he battled with depression for so long. But it's a really good band, really good band. Um, but that's part of the we don't see things as they are. As a child, I had no personal experience to reflect into the song. So as a child, I just sung it because my mom always played it. But then whenever I was older and I was going through my own things, I formed meaning into the song, kind of like horoscopes, but I formed meaning into it, and then it meant so much more to me. Um, Next sense is smell. For me, smelling a funnel cake, if it'll load without loading. Okay. This right here, this funnel cake right here, I don't know why there's blue lines. Um, oh, okay. This funnel cake right here smells like whenever I was like 5 years old and I went to the fair with my mom. And for the very first time, she bought me and my sister a funnel cake. We've always been poor my entire life. And my mom got to go on the slingshot ride. I don't even think they have it anymore because it's super dangerous. But she got to ride the slingshot. And, you know, if anytime I smell funnel cakes, Like I worked at Golden Chick whenever they had funnel cakes, and anytime I smelled it, I thought of my mom. I thought of that memory. If I wouldn't have been there, like if I wouldn't have had that funnel cake, I probably wouldn't even remember that memory. It's the funnel cake that brings me back. And every single time I smell a funnel cake, it brings me back. It just shows like the the smell pathway of funnel cake for me is just straight to the fair. Let's see. Oh yes. So for taste, um, okay. How does the quote? We don't see things as they are; we see them as we are. Applies to your gustation perception and the role of individual tastes, preferences in shaping your culinary experiences and identity. So, my great grandmother, whenever my grandma was growing up, they got commodities from the government, and they gave out rice and they gave out American cheese, but they didn't give out macaroni or anything. So, my great grandma would make rice and cheese. It's like macaroni, but different. And you don't cook it the traditional rice way. You fill it up with water so you can drain out the starch, all that good stuff. But it's not like steamed rice. It's like a different. It's just different. And I've only met one other family that did that, and well, their family, like the mom, grew up sewing flour bags for dresses. Um, so I think maybe it was just like a poor family, possibly type of food. Not sure. Um, but that right there is just like a that food is a part of like my cultural identity because as like white people, I know that I'm German, I'm Irish, I'm Scottish, I'm all this and all that, but I don't relate to sauerkraut or anything of that nature. I we kind of just made our own food because really, um, as a white family, we don't really have cultural food. So really, that is our cultural food. Another one is fried taters, hamburgers, and mac and cheese. That's just something that my mom and my grandma made growing up. It has your meat, it has your carb, and it has your carb. So it's obviously not healthy, but it's probably why I'm so, the way I am. But it's just kind of both of the things that I grew up on, other than McDonald's and Burger King. Uh, but it's interesting how food can literally shape your identity. You are what you eat. Um, Proprioception. So this one right here, I have a cool picture for it. This is hopefully never going to be my spine, but I have ankylosing spondylitis. So did this person. This is from the 1500s. This person, it usually is fused like this by the time you hit your 60s. They didn't have medicine like they do for it nowadays. Um, but pretty much ankylosing spondylitis does is it fuses your backbone, and it can even go into like your hips and your elbows, your shoulders, your wrists. Eventually, you become one thing. But um, in terms of proprioception, go back to it. I am constantly aware of how my body is. If I'm crouched over, if my hip is slightly turned, I can feel all this because the base of my spine, my SI joint, it's slowly kind of fused together. But I'm taking medicine for it, so it's not like as bad. But that damage is still there, and slowly but surely it's going to creep up my spine. But I am constantly aware of it. If I lay on my side on my bed, I am going to hurt until I can stand up and go, Another thing is, if I've just been sitting all day, my body's going to be locked up. I won't be able to move much. So as soon as I wake up in the morning, I had to get up and I had to start doing stuff. And I had to keep doing stuff and keep doing stuff until the end of the night. And then I can lay down and then my body's going to be locked up for the rest of the night. And I'm going to wake up and I'm going to do it all over again. So I am constantly aware of how my body is. I am aware of where my body is in space and time because um, I have really bad balance. I don't know why, but it's just kind of got worse over the years. Um, so I am just constantly aware of this. And I'm curious if I would have never been diagnosed, would I have been so aware of where my body is? I know I don't fit in certain areas, so some people don't. Some people just walk over things. Um, okay, for attention, this talks about how your attention was selectively directed towards specific stimuli or information, influencing your perception of the surrounding environment. For this one, I'm going to bring up my niece's birthday party on Saturday. I took Genesis to the space park in Shawnee, and I didn't realize how big it was. And they have these green hills that come up to probably about like I don't know chest area. Like it's tall. It's about probably about I don't know 3 or 4 feet tall, and you can't see a 3, 4 foot child past that because they're literally that high. Um, I lost her quite a few times. I won't lie. I did lose her quite a few times because I was trying to talk to my family, but this park was so busy with so many kids. There were so many kids having birthday parties. It was ridiculous. There was like 3 other people there, 3 other parties there, and this specific time that I lost her, she was off in the corner of the park, so far off, like okay, not that far, but like 100 yards, like too far for me. And whenever I walked up, I saw this man sitting there watching the kids play. And my instant thought was, oh my God, he's going to kidnap her. So I called her over to me and got her to me. This right here is my number one fear. I've been scared of this for 6 years, and it's going to keep going and probably until, you know, I die. Um, I've always been scared that someone will take her, kidnap her, be mean to her. Um, I don't know if all parents have this, but it's always in the back of my head. But if it wouldn't have been in the back of my head, would I have seen someone trying to kidnap her? Or would I have seen a man sitting down looking at his phone because his wife and his kids are over there playing? Because as soon as like I called for Genesis, he got up and walked off to his wife and his kids. But it's like, okay, was he watching her out of the kindness of his heart to make sure that she's okay? Or was he watching her because he had evil thoughts or, evil ways, bad intentions? And or was he just a dad sitting down relaxing because his wife and his kids are playing? So that's just kind of you know what you selectively pay attention to does influence the way you view things. So especially the certain mindset that you have behind things. So yeah, that's all of my